Let's start this recording. Okay. John, would you like to begin?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay.
Oops, wait a minute. Here we go. I think this
Does it say okay
There we
here?
go.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
oh, that's nice.
Beautiful.
okay. Oh, okay. It was just a bit slow. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to try and get rid of. Okay. All right, so welcome guys to another of our end of season slideshows, which used to be the Christmas slideshow, but we kind of slipped a month or two. So
I think I'm
as
muted.
usual, we invite people who are being presented to comment away and sort of describe things if they wish to do it. I do have captions on most of these, but if you want to chat about your pictures briefly, well, that usually adds to the interest and the enjoyment and all the rest of those things. So I guess we'll just start and see how it goes. All righty. And this is just to kind of get us going. So we usually present them by alphabetical order of the people who give them. So there's no sort of favoritism and all that stuff. Okay. Judith is not here, is she?
Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
am.
you're here. Oh, I didn't see you sneak in. Okay, great.
I'm glad I'm the favorite going first here tonight.
Hey, there you go. Well, one year we did do it back.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
comment if you wish.
yeah, this is just a hodgepodge of pictures I took over the spring and summer. I don't really remember what I submitted, but I'll take them as they come. This was a beautiful bouquet on the beach at Renews.
Beautiful.
I've put in is maybe a cultivar. I don't know if anybody thinks that that's not true. It seems to be so dense and luxurious.
It is.
And I know that the New York aster, there's lots of different cultivars, but being on a beach, it's puzzling. But anyway, it's beautiful.
Lovely.
Carry on.
That's the bittersweet nightshade flower.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, too quick here on the trigger. Yeah, that's quite lovely, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Okay. And this is what it says, I guess.
That little bit of Tuckamore caught my eye on the walk out onto the Beamer
Yeah.
last summer and fall. Quite an amazing crop of cones it had.
Yeah, it's been a great year for cones, hasn't it? Even still out walking.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And of course the crossbills are loving them.
Oh, I'd say. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this was taken down one of the ponds down there in Portugal Coast South. Just one of the trails around here. Yep. Last spring.
Gambo. Whereabouts in Gambo?
Yeah, that's one of the trails up near Gambo. The woods in the fall were beautiful with cinnamon fern
Yeah.
taking over the color. looked like fire almost.
Beautiful. Okay, that's good.
The cuckoo flowers have taken over our lawn and much of the property, and we just let them grow. But this was taken last spring out in the backyard.
Gorgeous.
I
And
suppose you've seen the flies, guys.
I don't know if that's a hoverfly or what it is there.
Yeah.
Or a bee.
That looks like an end.
One wing seems to be moving fast and the other doesn't seem to be moving
Yeah,
fast.
no, it has wings.
Yeah, but it's got one still and one moving.
Did you see it? Look.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a fire.
And yes,
Remember we had an ocean plant?
the cones are exceptional this year. This is a fir cone.
Yeah, a lot of our fir
Great,
cones in
yeah.
Newfoundland have these sort of bracted cones that where the bracts sort of stick out beyond the.
This was taken quite early in the
Yeah.
spring. They're just developing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
What did you touch for me to get it?
I took it over for
Oh, look. Just so that I can take pictures of an ocean plant. Gorgeous.
Lots of lilies down in those ponds down near La Manche.
Yeah.
Always a good spot to see them.
Beautiful.
A lot of these look like paintings. Like it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Look at the reflection.
That's gorgeous. Gold.
Now, John, you'll have to tell us what all these little things are in the middle of this blossom.
Well, the yellow sort of things that look like spoons.
Yeah, what are they?
Thank you.
Well, okay, the female parts are there. They're a bit hard to see. The white sort of things are stamens, but the yellow ones are called staminodes, like sort
Dina
of.
said that we can hook up the email and if we bring over the new machine.
Yeah. Don't be talking now, Heather, boy. And you're talking to the whole crowd, boy.
Oh, I'm sorry. It should be turned off.
Yeah. So anyway, they're called staminodes, and they're sort of kind of probably related to stamens that have just done other things evolutionarily. But so there's three things going on: the female bits, and then the stamens, which are white, and then the yellow spoon-shaped staminodes. They're quite characteristic of these.
So what do the staminodes do?
I think they got sort of nectar and stuff. Michael?
I honestly don't know with this species. In the Grassa parnassus, it looks like they are.
Oh no, they live in the woods basically, and quite small, and they have a golden colored root.
Root, yes, yeah. But with the other plant that most people would know that have staminodes would be Grassa parnassus.
Oh
and
yes, of course, yes.
I think do have a nectar producing function, and these guys, I don't know. I never even.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing. So they're kind of cool. All right, the flowers are only, I don't know, not even a centimeter across, I don't think.
Oh, they're very tiny. You need a macro lens to get those.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Just a bit of damaged bark there on an old spruce, showing the sap.
Yeah.
Both fresh sap and old sap. It's hardened.
So that should be corrected. That's sap instead of just water drops. Okay.
That's sap. Yes, it's sap.
Wow, tree. Nice.
Yeah, I'll collect it. I'll fix it on the send out. I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite lovely.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. Milbert's tortoiseshell on Canada thistle.
Yeah.
Mountain hawk.
And the little wee tiny flowers, mountain holly.
They're tiny, aren't they?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mountain holly.
Judy, what kind of camera do you use, Judy?
I have a Nikon, and I use a 105 macro lens for flowers.
Beautiful.
That's it's beautiful.
Yeah.
This was in the front yard. Those cherries were blooming in the front yard. And there was a patch of these over in the Boise's Trail this year, well into the woods, but huge patch of these growing together.
Mm.
They're really photogenic, aren't they? The lady slipper.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. The door. Lovely.
Only another 8 weeks or so, I suppose, we start to see those.
That would be nice.
10 or 10.
I've never seen the fertile fronds of the sensitive fern before.
Yeah.
This year, this was growing in the backyard, and not the most attractive looking thing, but I thought it was very interesting.
Thing is that the next spring, those things are still sticking up most of the time.
I doubt with all this snow, they'll still be sticking.
They're tough.
Oh,
Little cabbage butterfly.
little antenna.
They love the Canada thistle. Yeah.
Now, I don't expect we got Clive Booker here, do we? Okay, Clive Booker lives in England, and he has been over this way, and he's even been to a meeting in the Oxenpond room there, and he's quite an avid gardener, but he was quite interested. I think he came out on a field trip with us somewhere, but he's still a member, and he sends stuff. And this is his little backyard, it seems, in Lancashire. And so he's quite a.
Okay. Wow.
I'm sensing that there's quite a delay between flicking and my voice, so I'll try and slow down a bit.
Yeah, thank you, John.
About 4 seconds.
Yeah, over that much? Okay, well, I'll try and do that. Okay, so this is Clive Booker's garden in Lancashire.
His garden. Oh.
Yeah, he's a horticulturalist, but he's interested in everything.
Yes, it's quite a collection.
And Michael, if you want to comment on some of the garden plants, please do, because I don't think Todd's here.
Oh, I got lots to say if you want that.
Okay, well, whatever you want.
That tree there, is that called the monkey puzzle? Is that tree? It's the big one.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the one in the back.
Yeah.
Arcturian.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Easy.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Anyway, yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Goodness, it's beautiful.
Well, that's basically harebells that are bigger and wider.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
It looks like Campania. Wow.
Michael, that looks a bit like your garden too.
No, this is spectacularly more interesting. What a garden he has there.
Oh my goodness, what's this? Ooh.
Remarkable.
Yeah, I take it back. Maybe I don't have much to say. This is really funky stuff.
Oh, that's an oxalis of some sort, isn't it? Oh, and tropiolum, not tropiolum. So related to
Corydalis, maybe?
no, tropiolum is oh bother, big nasturtium. Nasturtium is tropiolum. So this is and so this has very different leaves, but you can see the long uh, claw at the back of the flower that has nectar in it. So the flowers are almost the same, they're just a bit narrower. But what interesting leaves.
Yeah, I was thinking Corydalis because of the leaves. They look very yeah. And we have that in the garden, Mardigans.
Oh
my goodness.
My gosh, what is this here too?
Shapers.
Oh, shade.
I didn't put in common names because in Britain, for our horticultural things, they don't seem to use them very much.
And Lewisia is a wildflower in Washington, Oregon, up in the mountains, but it's been bred for an amazing array of different colors. And certainly in the wild, we'd never see them with that mat of flowers. That's spectacular.
Something. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. My goodness.
What a variety. Oh, beautiful Ramunda. Yeah. This is a species that we can grow here on the island quite reliably. A great rock garden plant.
We have it in the garden.
Really, it's in the same family as St. Paulia. Sorry, African violets. And the flowers look very much like African violets, but the leaves are quite different. But they're very, very hardy plants.
Mine be the shooting star too, one of them.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
Another. Oh wow, white Ramunda.
Oh, that's goodness. Oh, ranunculus.
This strikes me that the flower would be quite big, but I don't know.
Beautiful.
Not sure which one, but saxifrage anyway.
It looks like it has very similar leaves to our livelong saxifrage with the calcium crystals all around the edges, the protective crystals.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, you're on.
Okay. This is just a little windflower coming up in sort of a mixed hardwood forest in Greece when we were over there.
It's nice like that.
So why is it called Blanda when it's purple?
Excellent question. I have always wondered that. I guess the maybe the early specimens that people saw were a white form, but yeah, it's a very definitely not Blanda.
Purplish white, you see.
Don't they come in pinks and whites?
They do, certainly. They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Hobblebush is native to the well, southern Canada, northern US, and very common in New Brunswick, where both Anne and I grew up. And we have a couple of plants that we have put in our garden here, and they're starting to do well with a lot of protection from hares. And they're always spectacular with their large white clusters of flowers, beautiful leaves, opposite leaves in the summer, berries in the fall, and then as the leaves die, that you get this sort of sectoral coloration developing, where each leaf looks completely different with vivid colors and blotches and splotches all over the surface. So they're a remarkable plant if you can keep the hairs off them.
How do you find it for viburnum leaf beetle, Michael?
So far, he said, looking for some wood, knock, knock. We haven't had them in this part of the island. It's
Oh.
only a matter of time because they're certainly down in Corner Brook and Pasadena, but they haven't caught up with our garden yet. So I guess we will find out. And that's unfortunate because we have a lot of different varieties of viburnums here, and I'd be sorry to see them go.
We had them in Pooch Cove pretty bad about 3 or 4 years ago, up until 3 or 4 years ago, but they've pretty much fizzled.
Oh, very good. Maybe the hares will eat them instead. That would be nice.
Yeah.
This is one of our wildflowers, one of the two common twisted stalks we have here. This is one with the leaf bases that wrap around the stem. And this is a single flower photographed from beneath with the bottom of a leaf in the background.
Yeah. The veins curve nicely, so almost like cornice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty.
This is Burnt Cape, just below the parking area at the end of the Cape. And it's a great place to get out and go for a walk down to the end of the point of the Cape and then onto the beach. And then looking back up at the cliff, you can see a little patch of green up about 2/3 of the way. And I think probably John has a close-up of that. See if it's the next slide. Ah, yeah, there's the close-up of the patch. A little rock garden of all sorts of different plants, mostly rose root and there's a little bit of draba in there and very small ferns, the white mountain saxifrage, things, all sorts of plants, all just clustered in that overhang because there's a break in the rock that allows water to trickle down and then pour down the cliff face below the overhanging rock. You can see that the rock surface the rock surface is kind of blackened, and that's because of minerals that have been taken from above and then deposited on the rock surface as the water's flowed down over hundreds of years. And that's what supports that little patch of plants.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Beautiful, Michael.
Yes.
Oh,
This is the garden, the common garden salmon seal, just looking at it a little bit more closely. Then often you walk by the flowers and you don't look at them because they're just kind of green and they hang down. But when you take a good close look, they really are very beautiful.
They sure are.
The green is lovely. Like...
Lovely color.
We planted a dawn redwood some years ago, and it's finally decided it wants to grow. So it's starting to look interesting, and with a little bit of can't remember whether it's rain or dew at the time, but just a little bit of moisture on the leaves and made it look extremely beautiful one morning.
You'll see from the text there, it's considered endangered in the wild.
Yes.
There's actually one we've seen when we've gone out on our field trips to Boring Park. It's parked right next to the famous Arup Bridge that goes over where it used to be the railway tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite big now.
It's also a fossil tree too, right?
It is, yes.
Yes, very much so.
Just water droplets balancing on the surface of the waxy surface of meadow rue leaf, actually, a single leaf. Those are the leaflets.
Michael. It's so pretty.
When we moved to Rocky Harbor, we brought a couple of plants, and a seed grew from where we had been living in Halifax the next spring. That seed has turned into a huge elm tree over the last 32 years, and it's now shedding elm seeds all over our yard. This is a rippled piece of Mississippian sandstone that we use as a paver on a trail through the woods. And the seeds have clustered in the depressions of these ancient beach ripples, which is kind of a nice pattern.
Yikes.
Mm. Oh, beautiful. Yes, smashing.
Phenomenal.
Lovely.
Oh,
It makes the flower look very active somehow or other. All that orange zipping up in different directions.
yeah.
And
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes, Solomon's seal.
No.
this is the same Solomon seal, but with the first snow just lying on the leaves and creating a light dark pattern.
Nice.
That's quite something. Now, I hope I did run this by Michael when I stuck it in there. I hope it's still all right.
This we've been growing Himalayan blue poppies for a long time, and this one is the strangest one that we've ever had. It's a regular blue poppy, but something went wrong in a couple of the cells, or one or a few of the cells at the top of a growth meristem, and they lost the ability to produce the blue pigment, but they were still able to produce cells that eventually turned into petals or portions of petals, because you can see actually the color is divided right down the center of a couple of those petals. And that's because all of those, the little cells at the tip of the growth meristem produce daughter cells that turn into all of the other parts of the plant further down the line as they multiply and multiply and multiply and then produce leaves and flowers and stamens and stigmas and all those things. Anyway, some of these cells were unable to produce blue pigment, and you get this beautiful weird coloration in this flower. It was only on two of the flowers on that plant, so it must have occurred further down on the stem of the plant that the mutation happened. And I don't think there's going to be any white in the plant in the coming year. This is a perennial. It's a weak perennial, this Himalayan poppy. So I do expect it to flower again next year. But the mutation occurred during the growth of that piece of stem. So chances are those cells, that cell line is completely dead, and the regular genetics of the blue poppy will take over and give us completely blue flowers in the coming year. I'll photograph it to say whether that's true or not. But that's my guess based on the way this color change has occurred in the flower.
So Michael, would that translate into like if you collected seed, the seed would probably still be the same?
It would be exactly the same. This is what's called a somatic mutation. So it's a change in some cells in the body of the plant that don't affect the genetics of the rest of the plant itself. Yeah. They just changes the way that the daughter cells produced from the cells express color or whatever. So it's just a mutation of part of the plant, not of the entire plant or the genes of the plant.
Gotcha. Thank you for the clarification.
This, I'm not sure what kind, whether this is something that would be carried on in the rest of the plant. I'd love to go back and see it again in this year or next year. I know it is, so if we get back up there, I'll take a look for it. It would be very interesting to know whether this mutation would also change.
So it's interesting, Michael, that I don't see any petals, which are usually quite short, but I can't see even any sign of them.
Actually, that's a good point. Yes, that is very interesting. We have to go back and take another look, obviously. Yeah, usually, I was just saying that I should point out that as with all irises, usually Hooker's iris would just have three, the flower parts would be in threes, but here all the parts are in fives, save for the little tiny petals, which normally stand proud of the rest of the flower. But you're right, I don't see them.
Don't see them, no.
Very, very interesting. Just a portion of the garden that had some interesting colors mixed in.
Nice. Beautiful. Oh,
it's nice.
We had a heavy rain that sort of knocked the plants down, but they still looked interesting, even though they were droopy that next day. They were still quite beautiful. You can see the colors in the flowers of this, the peony. We can just hop back to that one just a moment, John. That would be great.
That's chives there in front, is it, Michael? Chives with the
Just garden chives, yes. Anyway, the peony. Oh, sorry. The peony you see in the middle of this photograph is all one plant, and the flowers range from solid red to almost completely white, and that's the same kind of color difference that was exhibited in the Himalayan blue poppy. But here, the color change, because this is a perennial and it doesn't die down to its roots every year, what the somatic mutation in this plant can last for many, many years and flower year after year after year because those cells can survive through the winter. With the Himalayan blue poppy, the cells that lost their ability to produce the blue color will have died with the stem right down to the root, and chances are the root is just that of a regular blue poppy because it's never done that before, and so that's been lost. Whereas in this plant, if you take a cutting of one of those stems with the large amounts of variation and you plant it, you should get offspring that will last many, many years with that large white proportion. And if you take cuttings from the redder flowers that don't have any white in them, you should get plants that just produce red flowers. And that's because the cell line that has lost the ability to produce the color red is limited to those parts of the plant that show those red flowers, those red and white flowers. Anyway, it's kind of fun to play around with. You can get different varieties that way.
Well, what on earth are you doing to your poor plants, sir, Michael, if they're all mutating everywhere?
An interesting point. It's something in the water. Don't worry.
Okay.
Frankenstein.
We were up in St. Anthony this early this summer, and noticed a lot of yellow, scummy stuff floating in the water and trying to figure out what it was. Sometimes you get, well, pollution is what you think of first, but not in St. Anthony. Sometimes you get dead krill if there are there's a lot of krill offshore. We used to see that in the Bay of Fundy, where you get big patches of dead krill after whales had been feeding, and the shells would kind of wash up in big masses like that, but that wasn't what it was. We walked down the trail a bit further and took a bit closer look at the plants. And if John will move to the next photograph, you'll see that yellow is actually the pollen.
Oh.
Whoa, we lost the juniper. Well, it's the pollen of common juniper plants that are lining the tops of the cliff. And the junipers were just shedding masses of pollen every time you could touch a bush, and you get a cloud of yellow rising from it. As the pollen wafted into the air. And that was washing out into the ocean, sitting on the surface because they contain a little bit of oil and a little bit of air, and they float well, and being washed by the sea into these floating pollen patches.
Don't appear to have a large picture of juniper, but
okay, we lost it somewhere along the line. This is from the same trip. We were wandering around Cape Onion, and this is just a photograph of a couple of tiny alpine azalea flowers.
which, as it says, are about 4 millimeters broad. They're so tiny if you haven't seen them.
Are very tiny.
So they call it an azalea even though it's a kalmia? That's weird.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
It works. You've seen a purple finch, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
It's unfortunately names get moved around, and that's what they call it.
Oh my goodness.
This is on the burn that occurred in 2022, the big burn that cut off the Beta Spare Highway. We went back during the mushroom foray this fall, in September, to see what was coming up on the burn. You can see the blackened bits of tree in the background of the photograph here, little bits of blackened, well, carbonized wood, really. But everywhere there was any little bit of soil left over, seeds and spores and bits of roots were starting to green up the burn again. So there's actually a fair bit of green coming back up, even though the forest had been pretty well completely wiped out in most places. And we were looking at the fungi, but this patch of liverwort really caught my eye. It's a very, very elegant looking plant. Why can't you?
So, So I guess those little umbrellas are about what, an inch and a half tall.
Yeah, that's about right, actually. That's about the right height. Yes.
And Michael, this is in its prime, is it? What we're looking at?
Absolutely. It's shedding its spores right now. It's very, very happy and very healthy.
Oh, wow.
And this was the sky last summer when we had all that smoke coming over from the wildfires in Quebec. And the sky was for several days just kind of a hazy, orangey color. And you could look directly at the sun and still see afterwards. It was is very eerie how much the sun was attenuated by the smoke in the air.
If only that had been a partial eclipse.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would have been perfect timing. Yeah. From our trip to Greece, this is a weird thing. It's a close-up of a couple of flowers of a broom rape, a parasitic plant that grows with members of the bean family, wild members of the bean family. And it just pops up almost like ghost pipe monotropa that we see in the woods around here. But it's got much larger flowers. The whole plant would be about 30 centimeters tall, and the flowers are about 5 centimeters across. Really quite big and beautiful. But you can see pollen grains stuck on the well, actually, the pollen grains are those glands. Maybe they're just glands
Yeah.
on the hairs. The yellow patches on the hairs are very, very sticky and glandular, probably to keep insects from chewing on them before the flowers have had a chance to produce seeds.
If we do have a broom rape in growing in Newfoundland.
We do.
It's
Tiny
not
little
easy to find,
single
not
flowers.
easy to find sometimes, but
Yeah.
on the Avalon, if you really look carefully and it's the right time of year, there's some growing just about halfway down the Manuels River Trail from the Topsail Highway down.
You come across it occasionally, even on the limestone barrens,
Yeah.
around patches of trees and so on. Really quite beautiful. Very tiny, single flowers, and nothing nearly as massive as this plant.
Is that parasitic like ours?
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No chlorophyll whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usual. Oh, nice.
In the garden, just the low evening light coming through ostrich fern leaves.
In Newfoundland, that's a bit funny. It grows on the west coast, but it doesn't seem to come any further east than around Grand Falls.
And it goes quite far up the Nun Peninsula. You can find it right up to Main Brook. There are a couple of really big patches up around Main Brook, which is fascinating. That's almost up to St. Anthony.
Yeah, that's more or less the fiddlehead, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Oh,
Wild poppies again from Greece, just backlit by the sun.
So hairy.
No, prickly.
Prickly. Are is that prickly? I mean, I have them, but I don't remember that.
Ours wouldn't be, no.
Beautiful.
This is sometimes you see Norway maple leaves that have gone very white in the late summer and into the fall, and it's as the leaves are starting to be attacked during really humid parts of the summer. Mildews are starting to grow. They like the wet surface of the leaf. It makes it easier for the spores to germinate and for them to get into the leaf and start to parasitize it. And eventually, once they do get in there, they form this white, it looks like flour has just been sprinkled all over the surface of the leaf. And if you look closely, mixed in among the flour are things that look like little tiny poppy seeds. And these are the spore-bearing bodies of the mildew.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
Ghost starflower that I saw this fall on the side of a trail.
Wow, beautiful.
I didn't realize that it's a Lismachia now.
You can't keep up, can you? It's
That hurts my
impossible.
feelings a little bit.
I got it.
These the shiny balls are the fungus. And the fungus, in this case, instead of infecting the entire plant, the spores land on the flower head, and then as the seeds start to develop, they take over the food that's being pumped by the plant into the seeds, and they use it to produce this ball, this little tiny. It's like a very small puff ball, and there are several of them on this single flower head. Each of those balls is about 2, maybe 3 millimeters across.
Mm.
Don't try and look this up on the internet if you got safe filter on.
Oh, smut fungus, right? Yeah, that would be awkward.
You won't find it.
Good point.
Mm.
Another peculiar orchid from Greece. These are actually fairly common on the island of Kythera along the roadsides. They're not very tall. The orchids grow 20, 30 centimeters tall. And they're quite hard to photograph because they're very densely clustered. It's very hard to really see the entire shape of the plant or individual flowers, but they're different. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. On the extreme left, there's a little, I don't know, bee or something.
Bee, yes. Yeah.
Bee.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Extreme left.
Yeah.
mm.
Oh.
Just some dahlias that we'd picked and brought into the house. And one morning, the light was streaming through a prism that we have on the kitchen window, and it just hit them absolutely perfectly. One of those things, times when you run and grab the camera before the light changes.
Pretty cool.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Caramel, these are self-explanatory probably, but there you go.
Just a few people pictures over the summer. It's up in the Geocenter Trail. We did it in June.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful trail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You catch it sort of in the right time in June, if you're not from St.
Yeah.
John's area, but the right time in the sort of the middle of June, up on Signal Hill but behind the Geo Center, there's beautiful trails. And some years the entire hillside is just white. There's so many flowers out. And some seasons it's maybe not quite as much, but it's pretty much the biggest concentration of chocolate pears I've ever seen.
And then there's the Rhodora comes in too. So
And the Rhodora comes out into flower about the same time, yeah.
moving together is spectacular.
Yeah, in fact, that's what we look for to time it.
Yeah.
Oh, Rhodora's coming out. We got to go up and to our right. There's a lovely pond sort of to the west of St. John's. It's actually in Mount Pearl, and it's a nice trail around it. And we go there quite often. It's quite a nice spot. We've done some walks in Boring Park with Todd Boland, looking at trees, and that place should actually have little signs and things that tell you what some of the trees are, because it's actually an arboretum that doesn't know it's an arboretum.
I totally agree. Do you know if there's a list somewhere that you can like actually just see everything?
Yeah, it's in Todd's head.
Yeah.
But
I've been
they really
on
on
paper.
labeling it, having a little tree pamphlet
Yeah.
and the number. You don't have to number all of them, but a nice selection of trees because it's such a variety there. It's,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And I mean, the trees are just there. Just if you put some signs on, little plaques down the bottom or something, it would be a really
Yeah.
instructive sort of place.
That's Heather's great hat.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a few things from Carmel.
Now, I hate to come after all you really great photographers, but
Go
anyway,
on.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's lovely.
Kitty Lake. The cones are just huge.
Is Boring Park, Michael, is that Norway spruce?
Norway spruce, yeah.
I think it's Norway spruce, but there was another one out there that Todd mentioned that was quite similar to it.
That's down at Kitty Lake.
No, that's Boring Park.
Boring
Oh,
Park.
no, that's taken at Kitty Lake.
It
Down at,
was?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just as a,
Oh, you took it.
yeah.
Oh, you took it. All right. I'll make that correction then. Okay.
No, that's just down at Kitty Lake, just sort of the little part that says you can go into Kitty, you can leave the Kitty trail, and this
Okay.
huge. It's anyway.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I was under the impression it was in Boring Park, but it's not. Good. Good correction. Thanks.
Oh, that's good too.
Out in Heart's Content,
Gorgeous.
the Mizzen Trail.
Oh, yeah.
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 Beautiful.
No, I think that label is correct. Is it, Carmel?
You have to go back, John.
No, grapes.
This is out in the trailway in Calagrues, and Bill and I were walking the trailway, and I
Yeah.
just looked over and I said, "My goodness, what is that?" And it's grapes. It's beautiful, beautiful garden, and it's really well cultivated. And again, I guess with climate change, we're going to be able to harvest grapes. Do you think? Or it's surprisingly, it's so close to the ocean. I didn't think that.
Yeah.
Well,
There's another property out there that has grapes too. They're not strung along in a line like this.
beautiful.
Oh,
One of the,
goodness.
one of the more magnificent flowers.
That's Boring Park. Boring Park.
Boring Park.
Mhm.
Horse chestnut, Boring Park, yeah.
John, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
With horse chestnut flowers, they change from bright pink to less dominant pink, and then eventually to yellow. Some flowers change color once they've been fertilized by insects or by whatever, in order to signal to the insects they can stop bothering visiting them because it doesn't help the plant anymore, and they should visit the other flowers. Do you have any idea whether that's what's going on here?
I don't know, but it does change. So perhaps that's something to look up, I guess.
Always reminds me of a nice big ice cream cone.
Yeah, I mean,
Beautiful.
There we go.
Solomon seal.
Yeah, that's just in the yard there by the stream in our property.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I didn't venture the species on this one, but it's see how.
That's in up in Long Pond Trail there.
Yeah, it's on the trail, I know.
The sea lily, and it seems to bounce around all over the place. Doesn't seem. It seems like I'll go there and that's gone, and then I'll look over and it's way over in another field. Is it die off?
I don't know. They've been there for a long time.
That's interesting because they have such a taproot.
Yes,
It must just be seeding itself around.
Yeah, once it get established, they're usually pretty hardy and pretty difficult to remove. So that's fascinating.
Well, I walk them a fair bit, and I've never seen one that's always in the same spot because I'm always looking for them, and it seems like, oh my goodness, it's way over there.
They don't go temporarily dormant at all, do they, Michael?
Not that I've ever seen. Now, unless there's something that's actually eating them at some stage during their life, and that some are surviving and some aren't, or that they have they're acting like weak perennials rather than good hardy perennials. But we've had patches in the garden that have been in the same place for ooh, 2 decades, I would say, and they're really very um, strong and hardy perennials.
Yeah, I mean they're just growing out behind the wave tank, aren't they, Carmel, at the Memorial University campus?
That's right, John.
Yeah, the big wave tank out on the trail behind there somewhere.
They're pretty threatening.
Yeah, they've been there.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
to on them.
They're also not prone to insect damage. Like most of the time they're left alone. I wonder if someone says, "Oh, that's pretty," and digs it up. And it
That's a good
shows,
possibility. Yeah.
yeah, that is.
because
That's
it does
possible.
look kind of exotic.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised that happens. No.
It's probably
Yeah.
You'd want gloves if you're going to do it, though.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. And then they leave a bit of the taproot, and then 2 years later it springs back up or whatever.
Exactly.
could be making because
But they're good.
you do notice it. It looks exotic when you see it.
Oh, and it's gorgeous. Like I understand why
Mhm.
someone would want to steal it. But just, good luck trying to get that root out. We took them out when we put in our rose garden this year, and a couple weeks later they were back.
They can often look quite bluish.
Different, yeah. There's quite a range in cultivars and in different species that have different quantities of blue in them. Yes.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, nightshade.
Like Judy's.
Just
And that's the purple blue stripe that's down across from Murray's.
Yeah, yeah.
Murray's Pond
Murray's
there.
Pond, yeah, yeah.
Murray's Gardening Center.
If you haven't seen them around the Avalon Peninsula, go out to the Foxtrap Marina,
Mhm.
and there's acres upon acres, and it's quite spectacular. But they just seem to be there. They don't seem to be
Yeah.
going.
Well, there's 4 or 5 clumps of them or more now around Kittavity Lake.
Yeah, they are everywhere. I got some near my house,
Yeah.
just
This is
being
even
like a
primrose.
few.
This is
Yeah,
out in Cupids, but this plant was about 4 feet tall. That's the biggest even
yeah.
primrose. I was wondering if it was a garden variety or something. It was huge.
Well, this species is quite big flowered. I mean, they're
Mm.
yeah, inch and a half across the flower or more sometimes.
Mm.
Especially if you're out around, Pasadena, Corner Brook area in the summer, and you see these in bloom, look up inside the flowers.
Mhm.
There's a moth that
Oh, yes.
is sort of a kind of a salmon pink
Pink.
and a kind of a gold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a really weird moth. And they seem like they roost inside the flowers at night. I don't know, Michael, have you ever seen those?
Uh,
It's called the evening primrose moth, right?
I've seen them further south. We don't get them up as far as Rocky Harbor, but certainly I've seen them to the south. And you're right, they are spectacularly beautiful moths.
Yeah, well, we saw them in Pasadena somewhere.
They're a beautiful lemon. That's what I like about them.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Okay.
That
And
blue on
yeah,
the end. Yeah.
yeah. And that's taken on the trail and Mizzen Trail in Heart's Content.
That's content, yeah. Yeah. Now I'd put Virginia Rose question mark. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe it
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it was either. It just seemed like water, but I don't know if it was
It's
wet.
in a spider web, I think.
It's
Yeah.
just- yeah.
Very finely divided, sort of all over the place kind of
It's out in Chamberlain.
web.
Chamberlain's Park.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, I gather that that's what these are, but maybe Michael would
Wow.
test it.
That's out in Heart's Content on the Mizzen Trail. It's been a
No.
lot.
Yeah, very long hip.
Was this quite a tall bush, like 5, 6 feet, 2 meters, 3 meters?
No, only about like 3, 4 feet high. Yeah, low. Actually, I had to squat down and get it where there was most of the red. But I had to squat down on the bit of the pavement that was there. A little trail that goes into the park, you know.
Very elegant. Wow.
Oh, it was just laden with rose hips. Gorgeous.
Yeah, quite distinct shape.
Yes, yes.
And I gather that's red maple.
Yeah.
Mm.
The wings tend to
Lovely
curl right
colour.
around.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, now this
Yeah,
is
there you go.
this is on Circular Road, and I was walking down Circular Road, and I just, my goodness gracious, Andrews, this is for you. If you're there, I never saw, so I went right up to the top of the tree. What type of mushroom it is, but surprised to see it this late. But
Oh, yeah, the snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm here, but I can't help you.
no, yeah, I think I took. I don't know if I gave you the close-up one of it, John, but it had snow on it. Yeah.
Gene there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it away.
Oh.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Mm.
You should get after the people that do the tourism ads for Newfoundland. I think this is
Oh, that's
gotta,
just down in Kitty Vitty.
Wow.
Got you
Yeah.
know
That's a wow.
just a while ago in the fall. The colors were just spectacular. So
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
that's really nice.
Wow. Beautiful.
I
Mm.
presume that's the species. I think it is.
Mm. Oh, oh,
Mm.
sweet.
Red-belted bumblebee, I think.
yeah,
Yep.
Gene, that's and the ball thistle. Mm.
that was from our
Right.
walk on at Branscombe Pond when we went around.
Yeah.
So,
Remarkable number of things in that pond.
yes.
Oh.
Mm.
And it was just around Kent's Pond. I just never seen quite so many, and that's only a small portion of the patch that was there. It's on the south side of Kent's Pond.
Mm.
Wow. Weird. Mm.
And
Okay.
that's the weedy orchid, but it's in a different place on one of the slopes by the Francophone Association building on Ridge Road in St. John's. So.
Mm. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, Gene.
Mhm.
Oh. Oh.
And we did a walk a couple of years ago at Goose Pond in sort of in Bay Roberts, and on one of the slopes there's a lot of Queen Anne's lace, and most of it doesn't have any center, and most of the ones that have the colored center have it looks almost black from a distance. But there was one clump that had this just really bright red center, which makes you understand the legend of Queen Anne doing her needlework and pricking her finger and having it fall on the flower.
Beautiful.
I expect that the really red ones might be just as they've come out. I don't know.
No, well, all the rest of them were black, so it was almost like it was one clone, like
Yeah.
it was one clump, and it was surrounded by ones that had this really dark purple or almost black center, and I could just see from the distance that there was one, there were, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so flower heads that had this bright red. So I don't think it was the timing, because they all seem to be out at the same stage of development.
One thing to note on these is that the outer flowers have asymmetrical, huge petals compared to the rest.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Oh, yeah. Mm.
Yes.
Is that
That's about,
a characteristic to tell apart between that and the other lookalike?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah, well, it's characteristic of this.
oh, it's
Yeah,
beautiful
pretty
color too, isn't it?
That's a fantastic picture.
Yes.
I took some liberties with this, Gene.
I don't remember blowing them up that close, John.
No, I know. I just did a zoom.
Yeah. But it was really that bright red, and like I said, the rest of them. Oh, this is it shows you the birds like wildflowers too. If you go to the puffin site in Elliston, people often pick wildflowers on their walk in and throw them on the ground, hoping that the puffins will pick them up. The puffins don't actually pick the irises. You can tell that somebody hauled that up by the stalk.
Yeah.
But they will then often the puffins. I think they're looking for nesting material, so they'll often pick up wildflower. And this one just happened to walk over with the iris on the edge of one of the cliffs one day when the last time we were there, Karen and I.
As a great fan of puffins, I think that's a near perfect picture there, Gene.
Goodness me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Very
also present the flowers to other puffins, so I don't know if it's part of the mating.
Skipper's that sweet too.
No, I don't. I really think it's related. They'll often pull up moss and stuff and then fly back to where the nest sites are. So I think they're just looking for material to take back to the burrow, which is over on the island just off the mainland at Elliston. I don't think it's romantic, although it might be. And this is at Kent's Pond. Yeah.
Two invasive species at one go. Very nice. Wow.
Oh.
And that was from our Geo Center walk.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And this is was from the Sandy Pond Trail that goes in Terra Nova Park. I think we stopped on our way back from somewhere, maybe from Bona Vista. What did you say they called these something petticoats, John?
Yeah, the one on the left, you can sort of see why it has this name. It's called, in some places in Newfoundland, it's called the girl with the golden petticoat, which is I think wonderful. You see the little golden petticoat underneath the points.
Yeah.
Makes more sense than chocolate flower, which is another name for them.
And that's a hoverfly on the Baldelia that's up in Bristol's Hope. I don't know if it's a pollinator or just looking for, I was looking around for flowers and the hoverfly flew in, so.
It seems that this has a new scientific name.
Just saw that.
And if you see this thing at the bottom and use that URL, and if you speak Spanish, there's a paper that explains why it's changed its name.
And what is the reason why it's changed its name, John?
I'll let you go and read the Spanish.
Oh, okay.
It's complicated.
Okay, yeah.
These aren't, I like these a lot anyway, but the reason I put this picture in is Fern and I were in Bona Vista. We were walking around Old Dave's Pond, or some places, in some places it's called Dave's Pond. There's a nice boardwalk that goes around. And usually I see these irises in quite different places, in quite different habitats. But these were growing literally about less than a meter apart from each other. So it was a bit of a surprise to see both of them so close. It wasn't a surprise to see them, but I don't usually see them, so close together.
But it really illustrates the difference between the two.
And you can see the petals on the hooker eye on the right.
You
The
can.
left, the left, yeah.
You can.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a super helpful picture, Jean.
Oh, thanks.
The funny thing is the petals are the little shorter ones and the sepals are the big long ones.
Showy stuff.
Oh,
Mm. I just always liked these, and even though it does keep changing its name, I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Yours looks much healthier than mine.
Oh, I think mine were earlier than yours, Michael, maybe.
goodness.
I liked it because back when it was trientalis, I liked that it had 3 flowers, so it sort of made more sense that there was a tri in its name, but I guess I have to give that up now.
The interesting thing about these flowers is that they usually have 7 petals. There's not too many things that consistently have 7 petals or points or whatever. It's an odd number.
Oh,
Nice.
I take pictures of these every year. I'm just always amazed that something like that is a larch, you know, that
Yeah.
they're just so amazingly colorful.
Yeah.
And you can pass the tree and not see it either. It wasn't until you get close up. It's so beautiful.
This coneflower that again was at Sandy Pond.
An earlier picture in this show, somebody was saying, "Oh no, maybe the hairs are glandular." Those ones are glandular for sure. Those little hairs with the little round knobs on them.
And especially on the ovaries, they're very sticky on
Yeah.
twin flower.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they've changed the species on the mountain alder, of course, but there you go. Male flowers and female flowers are the little short reddish ones. Or, well, catkins, if you want to call them. Now, this one we had a little chat about.
We had a long chat about it. Karen actually found this, but it's growing near the it was growing near the animal care center in Pippy Park off Allendale, Higgins Line. And I thought it was probably Psychotes because I've never seen the hybrid, which John thinks it might be, the Andrewsii, with such a robust flower head. Usually they're pretty sparse, and this had so many flowers and near the head. So John and I had a long discussion. I don't think we know for sure which it is. The color is more like Andrewsii, but the flower heads look a lot like Psychotes, so I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, there's a lot that we don't know about these purple fringed orchids or white fringed orchids. And there's been papers written on them, but I still don't think I'm convinced of a lot of stuff. But anyway, there you go. Michael, any idea?
No, I couldn't guess. You're right. It looks very pale, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, it's an amazingly dense flower head.
Yeah. I mean, if it had a slightly different, fringing and petals and a slightly different little face on the person that these flowers seem to be, it could, might be the big ones from the West Coast, but it's not because they're quite different.
Yeah.
Karen.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, it's just down at Kent's Pond. I think everywhere Jean was, I was. So you probably seen them all.
You got yours taking a drink though.
Okay.
You can see the tongue in the front there.
Yep.
Ah.
Little crook. Yeah. Pretty cool. Branscombe spot.
Well, that, as I mentioned earlier, we had so many dogberries that were, and they were red too in the fall, but they seem to disappear pretty quickly. And now the robins are having a hard time finding dogberries. All the birds that like berries. I don't know where they all went. They went so quickly. Maybe they all fell off in a windstorm because we had lots of wind.
I don't know.
But they were thick when they were blooming, when they were first out as berries.
You gotta watch out for crows. Sometimes they'll get a little bit wacky and they'll go and they'll take the whole bunch of berries and just rip it off and throw it on the ground and go down and eat them.
Starlings, crows, and robins have a regular feast out here when the berries are ripe.
Yeah.
They strip the trees almost in a week, 2 weeks. Some years they just take every single berry.
Oh, well, that was a flat-topped aster at Bristol's Hope and the tortoiseshell.
Pretty.
Yeah. Oh, I put this picture in because you keep seeing these large leaf goldenrods. I mean, I see them in a lot of different places and nobody ever takes pictures of them. So I thought
They
should see
like
They deserve a picture.
Yeah.
They like to
They're
live in the
not
woods.
beautiful, but yeah, you see them in the woods but nobody takes pictures of them.
Well,
So
you do.
here's one. Yeah, here is one. Yeah.
Very pretty, Karen.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the scrappy little goldenrods.
A little bit scruffy.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I put this in because it's the best picture of a spider web I took. So at Kent's Pond. And I don't know where the green is. I don't know, just marsh grass. That's what I call it.
It was a busy
That's the
spider.
species.
Yeah.
I think that's the
He
species,
was
but I'm not
busy.
sure.
Yeah.
Looks like that species.
It's in good shape.
Oh yeah, brand new.
Lovely. Oh,
Oh, yes. Well, that's more spiders' webs down there at Kent's Pond. Yeah.
nice.
Early morning. Yeah.
That's a great one. And almost makes it look carnivorous, like it could reach out and grab you.
You could almost feel it like that morning. It was a lot of dew. Yeah. And St. John's wort, when it reaches that stage, it's just kind of neat to see they're almost like berries.
Yeah.
Never saw it like that.
Go to seed. Yeah. Oh, and I took this on our walk with John downtown, and that's the wallflower. Not a great picture, but it was awkward because it was up high and the wall was high, and you can see the flower there on the right, little small flower.
Yes.
You notice the species is muralis, which basically means wall, and it's sometimes called the wall toadflax. They like walls. Yeah, that's just very, very close to the Sprout restaurant on Tucker Street.
Attached to,
Pretty much,
Sprout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
Now, I put this little note on it because we were talking about chimeras and weird genetic things with Michael, and this looks kind of weird until you sort of pick it apart. So you can read that if you want to.
Oh, that's what's happening.
Okay.
Very cute.
Okay. So
Backed up by one of our beautiful pieces of graffiti downtown. Which I think sort of sets it off, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I like it.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
it does.
The yellow and blue.
That's Ukrainian flag colors.
Oh,
I always like these because we had gone through such bad times with all the viburnums, and it seems like they're coming back pretty well.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
Bothered.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with these because they often have these pink, sort of not mature, I guess, berries, and then they got spatterings of these dark blue ones, all in the one group. I don't I don't know exactly what's going on, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, you can see the one on the right in the center that's half pink, half blue. I think it's just a matter of some maturing a few days ahead of the others. So you get the blue ones is the fully mature one.
There's
And
even a couple of
when they're
white ones.
completely mature, they do look like sort of dark blue, almost black, raisin, semi-desiccated things.
Yeah.
The name is very
couple of real young ones in the middle where they're white.
yes, yeah.
True.
That's gorgeous.
Oh.
Well, it's just a bee having a little nap, I'm afraid. It's, yeah. Okay, well,
I changed the species on that one. I think I'm correct on that.
Okay. That's Petty Harbor Long Pond. Yeah. Oh, well, that's just a lot of, I guess, dew or raindrops or something. I think it was after the rain, I'd say, at Mundy Pond.
Yeah.
It almost looks like peas in a pod.
It does. Those
growing,
leaves look, pea-like.
Is it growing right beside one of the eryngiums?
Uh-huh.
It looks like eryngium leaves at the top and bottom.
I think that's thistle, isn't it?
Sea holly? No?
Looks like sea holly, but anyway, one or the other, yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Oh,
beautiful.
Okay.
Now, I'm assuming that that's water and not.
That's water.
These guys get a bad rep, but the flowers are lovely.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's a September flower.
Yeah. And this gives you context for Jean's earlier picture.
Yes. Thank you for putting the toad in, because I had more fun catching the toads. There were so many toads at that pond, and I'm not like the bravest person, but they were pretty happy to come and visit your hand.
Oh, really?
They've pretty much spread all over. They've pretty much spread all over the island. There's not many places now that they're not found.
But they just kept hopping in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, there were lots of them, strangely. Yeah. Lots.
I feel like it was a bigger year for them than normal this year. I don't know if anyone else.
Maybe they're certainly spreading.
Yeah, everywhere. We even found them on top of the tablelands here in Grossmorn.
Yes.
How in the world they got up there? I don't know.
Yeah, down there, what was it? School Camp Road or Camp School? Anyway, south of Corner Brook. You get up, there's a road there that goes...
Logger School Road, I think.
Logger School Road, that's the one. Yeah, they're right in there, way up in the top. Thank you, guys. Okay, now, I haven't heard...
Matt was here. Yes.
Is Matt here?
Matt put in the chat
still here
that he had to leave. Yeah.
Now, some of these pictures might be familiar, but because Matt gave us a talk last month.
Yep.
Nice.
You can see the male and the male and female catkins, and I guess we could call them, yeah. They should be out anytime soon. Look, May 27th. Oh my goodness.
Nice, Matt.
It is nice.
Oh.
So do I understand Matt is here, or is he left?
No, he had to go.
Okay, that's fine. So anyway, these are some of Matt's pictures, which for those of you who don't know, it sort of blows my mind, but these are taken with a phone.
Cell phone.
Yeah. Sometimes a cell phone looking through a magnifying glass, some of them. So this is pretty amazing stuff. Now, it's not your average phone. It's got a macro lens on it, but hey, shows you what you can do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
A nice dense.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a nice fruit. Fir.
And this is the flower of the gold thread before it's fully opened. And you can see in the center, those hokey sort of shapes. Those are also characteristic shapes in that species. If you get down on your hands and knees, look for gold threads in the woods and look at them really closely because the flowers are just cool. They're actually on top of the Hawk Hills too, by the way, out in the barrens. So I don't know.
Wonder if he took it with his phone and the magnifying glass for this
No, I think he said he did, yeah.
one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't think this is one of those chimeras necessarily, but there's something weird, some weird variegation going on with these larch leaves. Seem to be consistent in every one, so it's probably something that's sort of not mutated. It just does, probably.
Very interesting.
Now, this little fly guy is having a grand old time on that. But these are Fraser's Marsh St. John's wort, and I don't know how many people know Sue Meads, but she did a thesis on this particular species a long time ago, and there's a similar species in Nova Scotia. So anyway, it's pretty cool. You can see those if you look on the boardwalk at Branscome's Pond, on the sort of the end nearest the cemetery, if anybody knows the ground out there. But most people don't notice them. Now this one, I had a discussion with Matt on this one, and we've sort of settled on the fact that it's a white ragged fringed orchid, which is a Newfoundland variety. Clyde, you've seen these. Anyway, this is a Cabernet, but there's lots of work to be done. White one. You see them sometimes. There's some at Kennedy's Pond, believe it or not. And this one, there was a discussion.
Wow.
And I think Sue on the Facebook page thought that it was maybe a mutation, but I disagree. In fact, I think it's just incomplete pollination, which is fairly common. So in other words, these little green ones in the center, those green bits in the center are just unpollinated bits where the pink juicy bits are pollinated bits.
So like the hard tip on a strawberry that hasn't been pollinated properly.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking it is, but I stand to be corrected. But again, if you want to see something that might convince you, there's a URL down the bottom which shows blackberries that look just sort of like that.
Looks tropical.
So.
Oh my, pollen.
This is for you, Michael.
Perfect.
Pollen.
Wow.
Wow.
Brian's Cove. It's sort of an action shot. Both thistle
sure is.
seeds, presume.
Oh, nice.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
And I wasn't totally convinced that these were beach peas initially, but I think they are. And Bristol's hoping, as you can see, the peas are certainly well along there. This is the spore producing part of the wood horsetail.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
Now this is weird. And we're talking about eating primroses. And this is a mutation of sorts called fasciation. And what seems to happen is that the stem widens as it gets taller and flattens out. And lots of times there's great proliferation of the bits and pieces, which is what these pointy clumps are. If you want to see weirder and weirder things, look up fasciation. With it, there's some pretty strange things that come when things start going a little bit
They were.
wacky. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that it's called fasciation because it's so fascinating. It's so close.
No, it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I know.
Yeah, I can't take a joke. Sorry.
Okay, Anne.
Hello.
That's very nice.
Now.
And I was standing up in probably like 3 feet of snow, took that, and actually I was out at Barn Park just on Sunday, and as somebody else mentioned earlier, the buds, they're not opening yet. The buds are there, you can see them, but they're not anywhere near open. So
no, well, this was taken in March.
Oh, March.
Yeah, this was last year, March, yeah.
But I think Clyde's taken them in February, haven't you, Clyde?
See?
No.
I had them in March one year, February one year, middle of February.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. So there's two kinds in Boring Park, and we just call them the red ones and the yellow ones, but they seem to be hybrids and odd forms, and those IDs are the best I can make out of it.
So was I right? Because I actually stole my ID, I think, from Gene Hertzberg's post from the year before.
I can't remember now. But...
and then John, you emailed me and said, "Are you sure that ID?" And I went, "No, I just stole it from
that's
somebody
right.
else."
Yeah. The red one, I think, is correct. It's Diana, and one is the Japanese, and one is the Chinese, but they're sort of horticultural more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think Arnold's Promise is often like that yellowy color as well. But
yeah.
Now I did notice that the one growing near the caribou, the buds were chubbier than the one growing on the side of the other one growing on the side of the trail. So I'm betting that one's going to flower first. I may be wrong because last year they bloomed at the same time. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, the one by the caribou is sort of down in a hole, so it can shelter.
Yeah, so it's sheltered. So we'll see. My daughter bought a house out by Barn Park now, so I'm going to be out every weekend checking.
Oh, Anne.
Beautiful. That's up by George's Pond, growing right on the shore of George's Pond.
Spider webs everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. It was right down by the water.
Oh, nice.
Yes, nice.
And that was up on the Blackhead to Fort Amherst Trail.
Beautiful.
This is one of our more robust burr reeds, and if you want to see them in profusion, go out to upper three corner pond or up. Anyway, it's on the Bottling line. There's a lovely trail up there we go to.
So I wasn't sure if I had that right. And last year in our slideshow, I had the two burr reeds that I didn't even realize were different that I saw while I was kayaking. And this is actually on the trail, again, the Port Amherst Trail to go to Blackhead. And this is just in a wet area that I've taken pictures for years.
Yeah.
And last year, for the first time, said, "Oh my heavens, there's a burr reed there." So I called it the American. I'm judging from what you had told me last year.
Yeah, they can get a couple of feet high or more.
Yeah,
they're quite robust.
So I never noticed them on land before.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever it is, that trail out just sort of near the ball field and Balling line, lovely place to go around. We've done some field trips up there. the place is full of these up there, like hundreds and hundreds and thousands.
Oh, neat. Okay, I'm gonna find that.
That's a lovely thing.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's pretty.
So one of the walks I enjoyed the most last year, because I do live downtown, was our downtown walk.
Oh,
And you know, it was a lot of fun, and I think we attracted a bit of attention while we were trotting around from
We did.
other people.
Yeah.
We did. And it really did get me to say, you know, I got to relearn these plants and actually look at them again, because they are my childhood plants. I grew up in St. John's, and this was stuff I played with and probably put in my mouth and I shouldn't have, and all that kind of stuff. So and most of these were actually taken. There's a little empty lot at the end of our street, and I go down there anytime I got a second to see what's popping up. And you just got to be careful where you walk for you know, garbage and whatnot. But
now, these being burdocks, they are meant to stick.
Yep,
and
they
if
do.
you look at the hooks on some of them down towards the bottom, and over on the leg. That's why they grab you.
Yeah.
In St. John's, we call them stickabugs.
Yeah, that's right.
Sticky bugs.
But now, there's even though they're generally similar in the flower, there's a huge difference in the flower underpinnings from the burdock, to the knapweed. See, the knapweed, the little scales are all full of little, little sort of scales that have all these little projections on them.
Interesting, though. My goodness, this. Whoa.
And this was actually growing right next to those two plants. The common St. from Karen earlier.
And if you take one of those flowers and you scrunch it up and smell it, it does smell like pineapples.
When I was a very young child, like before I started school, I have memories picking this, and I thought it was a daisy that had lost its petals. And years later, I said, I'm stunned, but then I actually didn't recognize it as being part of that family. So I'm like, okay, I wasn't that stunned after all. But I used to rub this and smell it. I think I did eat it actually a couple of times too. And we had all kinds of fun with pineapple weed growing up.
Yeah.
We didn't call it pineapple weed. I can't remember what. I think we called it like dead daisy or something, or decapitated daisy. Yeah.
These are tough as nails. You'll get them growing anywhere.
Actually, I had a big clump growing right in front of my house in the sidewalk this summer, and nobody picked it. I was quite happy.
With the pineapple weed, as children, we used those. Those were one of the flowers we used to decorate our mud pots.
There you go. Yeah. And mossy stonecrop grows everywhere downtown and in the graveyards and whatnot. And I just thought it looked quite pretty when you actually look at it close up.
Yes.
But it grows underneath the houses here, up against the walls and whatnot. So it's all over the place.
Oh, look, that's me. All right. Now, all right, this may not look terribly inspiring, but there's a story that goes with this. On our previously mentioned downtown weed walk, we were at the bottom almost of Prescott Street, where the traffic cop used to be, for those people who remember the traffic cop. Anyway, there were these lamb's quarters that have these characteristic sort of triangular leaves that have sort of like ears at the base of them. And that's what the leaves are more or less supposed to look like, something like that.
Nice.
Further up the plant, they're still kind of that general shape. But what was going on with these things that look almost like, I don't know, weird seed pods or something? And like, what's happening? Well, they were everywhere on the plants. And actually, this is a close-up, and this is the stem, and you can see the little stalk, and these are the little pointy bits at the base of the leaves, but the leaves are being rolled right up like as tight as you can roll them. What was going on? So I said, well, I got to investigate this. And so I don't know if that's Roger or somebody anyway helped me sort of peel these things open. And lo and behold, these were just rolled up leaves. And inside, they were full of little aphids inside those rolled up things. It looked like They did. And they were full of them. You know, when you pull the leaf open, all these foolish little aphids. And it turns out that they're actually the what do you call it? Lamb's quarters aphid. They specialize in lamb's quarters and rolling leaves and living in the leaves, sort of as a cocoon for their. And if you want to get lots and lots more information on the lamb's quarter aphid, there's a URL there which should help you. They're actually quite remarkable. So if you see something weird that doesn't quite look right, take a closer look and maybe even peel open something that's curled up and see what's in it, because it's probably something that's interesting. And these were, by the way, very small.
Well, pee, didn't it?
But and sorry for the blur, but these were taken handheld on a leaf that was handheld at the side of Prescott Street on a kind of a cloudy day. So I think they came out okay.
Yeah, sure did.
Oh my goodness.
They're not very big.
Wow. It's interesting that the sizes of the little insects are so variable. Maybe it was a hatchery. Yeah.
Different ages, probably.
Ages and stages.
And talking about eating stuff.
Oh, there's your.
Yeah, upper three-corner pond in the Bawling line. That's what I was trying to remember. That's where that great trail is. It's got those big burr reeds in it. Anyway, this is the black slug, which is introduced, but that's the big one that's about the size of somebody's big thumb. And they're usually black, or they can be brown, or they can be different colors, but they're mainly black. Introduced.
Licorice flavored?
And
one of your favorites.
Licorice flavored?
No. Anyway, so if you want to know something gruesome, I actually have from Europe that explains that in the old days when they had wagon wheels, they used to grease the wagon wheels by smashing these things up and smearing on the wheel axles. Believe it or not. No, but I mean, hey, that was years ago. They didn't have grease from Canadian Tire or something. Anyway, this guy is, I said he's noshing on the dandelion. He was. I mean, he was sort of gumming it to death. You do have little tongues.
Is that an eye?
No, that's a breathing hole.
Oh, okay.
They sort of have a lung in that saddle. It's sort of a lung, and they can open and close that, and that's their lung. But anyway, so he basically gnawed this poor dandelion into submission. And when he backed away, it was sort of one-sided, and he'd had a grand old feed.
That's a great picture, John.
Male cones starting up.
Nice.
Boise's Bay Park in Portugal.
Beautiful.
And this is the glandular willow herb. We've got two forms of this species. One is glandular and purple, and the other was not, and white usually. And that's on the steps of the Anglican Cathedral in St. John. And for those who are out on Todd's Walk, tar spot fungus on Norway maple.
Yes, bye.
And while we were waiting for Todd to get going on our last tree walk out in Boring Park, I was looking at these little things on the ground. Now, Howard wrote a little thing in the last Sarracenia. He called these doorweeds. Anyway, they're the same thing, and there's several species, but this flowers on these are microscopic. I mean, really tiny. I mean, they're size of sometimes almost like big coarse sugar grains or something. You know, they're just not very big. And
not grass.
Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. My internet was unstable. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I was having unstable internet out here today.
Mm.
And that's the flowers on that plant. So I don't know, they're millimeter and a half across, maybe.
Wow.
You're lucky.
Wow.
It was just by the car park.
Yeah.
Now, Susan and myself went out, my wife Susan and myself went out to Little Heart's Ease not long ago, and we're sort of cruising into the outskirts of it, and there was this big lump of a rocky thing, and it was covered with hawkweed and lupins, and it was just quite spectacular.
Yeah, that's lovely.
And down by the river, more lupins.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so,
Oh,
Little Heartsease is a great place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And Judith showed us what is probably this cultivar earlier in the talk, and there's one from Joan Scott from St. John somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, but they seem to be a cultivar because they're so densely packed.
Yes.
Claude, take it away, Claude.
Oh.
Okay. This is up in Grossmore on the Tablelands, Tableland Walk there. Alpine catchfly. Okay, I think I got that name correctly.
Oh,
gorgeous.
That thing has had various scientific names.
Beautiful.
Now, there you go.
Oh.
Arrow leaf. This is at Big Woods Park. I got this one. I got the on the stems. You can see the pointy bits on the stem,
which point backwards.
Yeah,
and hence the name tear thumb.
Yeah,
Mm.
Run your finger along that, you'll get a fright.
I had my big long birding lens on that I had to really step back to get this picture. It's kind of hard to take with a long lens.
Gorgeous.
Lovely.
It is. The more you look at it, the prettier it is.
Oh,
look at that.
Here,
Mr. Baycapple.
Beautiful.
I could have stayed out there long that day, but it was really hot that day. I was there for about an hour and I had to give it up.
Yes, I guess. That's lovely.
I might have mentioned this before, but Baycapple's got male and female plants, so this will be a female plant. And if you run into a patch of leaves that doesn't no fruit around, it's probably their male plants.
Oh.
Now this one I've been going to Burnt Cape for a number of years trying to see this one. I finally got to see it this summer, but there was only about 3 or 4 plants there. Jean put me on these. These are not on the top of Burnt Cape. They're down by the beach as you before you go up to Burnt Cape, walking on the beach. And they were pretty well hidden in amongst the blueberry bushes and shrubbery there. That's the best picture. I'm still not happy with the picture, but that was the best one I could get.
Yeah.
That's the best place to look from too.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can see that one is getting a bit, another couple of days will be gone.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look at that.
This is the Brea.
That is a nice one.
That is beautiful. Yeah.
Down the patch, as those who've been up there, the road that goes across the top. When I went up there, there was a line of rocks on the edge of the road as you go in there. And I said, I wonder what they're there for. So on the way back, I happened to stop. And this was someone had placed in rocks there so the traffic wouldn't go out. And there were several of these plants there.
They're on the endangered species list for Newfoundland. They're considered a species at risk, and they're also found only on the island of Newfoundland up on the west coast in the limestone.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Longsbray, which is similar to it, which is also endangered.
Yeah, I'll try to get those at Sandy Cove.
Sandy Cove, yeah. Sandy Cove, yeah.
I haven't seen those yet. I might have seen them. I took photographs, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they're nice. That's a nice shot.
It is.
Thanks.
Oh,
Wow.
gorgeous.
It's hard to get these sometimes with all the parts in bloom with seed there, so managed to get that one. There were lots of them there that day.
Lovely. Color. It's wonderful.
Never understood why they're called a grass pink, but anyway.
That's even gorgeous. Oh, bye.
The hooded ladies.
No, I was surprised. A couple of years ago, I found those up there, and I was up there again. I saw these. There's quite a few plants there.
Yeah.
It's quite a patch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Lovely.
Nice, calm sort of a picture.
My God, that's beautiful.
When I go to Kelly's Brook, is mostly go down and take pictures of birds. Again, this one I saw through the woods, so I had my long lens again to manage to get that. It's kind of dark down there, you know. I managed to. It's hard to get a sharp photo. You got to, use a slow shutter speed to get a good exposure.
Oh, it looks so nice. It is beautiful, that's right. Rose begonia.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just out Cochrane Brown Road, there's a little small bog on the side of the road there. Some years I had 3 or 4 species of orchids there. But this one here, I didn't realize when I took the pictures, when I got home and looked at the computer, I really liked the pattern and the texture and the.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Quality is nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
A number of times I've been taking pictures up there, but this year up there, every plant up there looked like this. They're full bloom. I don't know how many pictures I took there.
God.
Yeah, but they were all in good condition. I hardly seen any withered ones at all.
Beautiful.
Because you go up there in mid-July and these are all gone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cranberry.
Same day was at Cape Spear again. When you lay down to get the pictures, you start seeing things you can't see while you're just walking about.
It's true.
Oh, nice.
There's only one plant in Because Park is the only one I saw there.
Nice.
It's cheerful. Yeah.
Oh,
look at that.
The Lomond, there's a trail that goes down to the river there. I saw these there.
Gorgeous.
Light was just coming through the trees there. Nice thing.
That came out well there, down there on Docker Street.
Yeah, I didn't know what the name of these were, but I like the softness of those flowers.
Rabbit foot.
Yeah.
So soft, it's beautiful, Tide.
Look at the water on it.
Yes. Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Oh.
That was that small. Again, I've forgotten the name of that one.
Yeah.
That was
That's the one down there by the sprout.
Is
Yeah.
that the one I call the wallflower flower?
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. So you got the picture of the flower.
Here's the wildflower.
The little flower.
That was even with the macro lens. That's a tiny flower. That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I was surprised that even came out.
Yeah,
it looks like he's flying off.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh, the yellow.
I was a bit late. That was the only one was worth photographing that day.
Yeah, you got to watch at Kenny's Pond. If there's a gale of wind comes up, it'll flatten half the flowers.
Yeah, there was a lot there. There were a lot there that withered. That's
You got a spider hiding away in there too on the
yeah,
right-hand side.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Oh, look.
yeah.
Yes.
Underneath there, yeah.
Right underneath.
Yeah.
Most unexpected place I ever found them. Michael, you'd know where this is out behind the Dune Lodge.
Oh yes,
You
yes.
go down past the buildings and go down by the little brook. The river is out behind it, and it's full of them down there.
Yeah.
There's a nice bunch in the Cardroy Valley down St. Andrews in the ditch inside the road.
Yeah.
And down across the Murray's, this big patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Now, Andrews, are you still there? I don't know if Andrews is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now I apologize for distilling down the labels a bit, but here's your pictures.
oh,
Wow.
Oh my.
just aging. Wow. Wow. Nice.
Yeah, that is a wow.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Look at that. Wow.
One flower left.
Oh
Cracked and
my.
tattered.
Yeah, we're gonna have to read those slowly.
Mm.
Oh my. Oh,
Wow.
Roger, you there?
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm here.
Roger?
There you go. There you go.
oh, nice,
You're
Roger.
on.
That cocoa flower.
Oh, nice, Roger.
Yes, these are. We took a wildflower walk in this area one year, but this was taken actually last summer, and this is right along the trailway, the old railway in Mount Pearl, just beside the big open area on the Waterford River.
Mm.
Pretty.
Lovely.
It's interesting that some of them are in full flower and some of them are well old.
Yeah, it was
quite
striking. You can see one or two that are just making the transition, but mostly it's one or the other, and it may have something to do with the fact that the ones that are have sort of gone to seed are maybe on more of a rubble and dried out faster.
Yeah.
Were bloomed earlier because of the extra heat from the ground. But I thought it was just a beautiful. It's almost like a botanical garden or something.
Yeah, very pretty.
Normally, I don't think of coltsfoot as anything other than a weed.
Oh, lovely.
This is chervil, Roger.
Chervil.
Wild chervil and Anthriscus.
That's pretty too. Waterford Valley.
Yeah.
River. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't. It's on the other side of the river, and I couldn't really walk anyway. For all I was on a bicycle. I couldn't get to close-ups to anything really for the most part. So I mean, the easy way to find out if something is Anthriscus is just to taste it, because if it is, it's got that really strong licorice taste.
Yeah.
But so I guess I was just taking this one because of such a spectacular display of it, whatever it was.
Yeah, they're everywhere, bud. They're everywhere.
Redweed.
It looks like, is that cuckoo flower there in the front? That there, right there in the front?
I don't think so. No, it might be. It's hard to. It seems to be too branched.
Yeah.
But it might be. It's hard to tell.
Nice. Gosh.
For all intents and purposes, you could call it yellow lupin, but it's not a lupin.
No, it's not yellow lupin, and it's that the name was. I circulated this picture to the executive, and it was Howard Close, I think, who came up with the identification of common thermopsis.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of patches of it. It's apparently a relatively recent arrival in the province.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. I couldn't get, I sort of zoomed to get this picture. I was much further away from it. So it was, I couldn't, because I wasn't able to walk and it was sort of rough ground there. I couldn't get up close to actually see what it was in a detail. So I think, but Howard's identification sort of makes sense from the pictures I saw online afterwards.
Yeah, it's definitely that. There used to be a big patch of it on Newtown Road down towards the bottom, and then they went and built a bunch of townhouses right over top of it and obliterated it. There's also thousands and thousands of it down from Passy, or there used to be around the hotel down there.
Oh,
it's a beautiful plant, but it's incredibly invasive. It's as hard to get rid of as Japanese knotweed. It is bad.
Well, all you got to do is build a bunch of townhouses on top.
Well, that would do it. That would do it.
If it were really so invasive, though, it would be much more widespread, wouldn't it? I mean, this is the only patch of it I've ever seen.
Try putting it in garden soil.
Well, yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's done very well.
It can move. It can move 4 or 5 feet in a season. It's amazing how fast it shoots out. It just radiates in all directions.
One thing that surprised me about this was that it looks like it has peaked here, and I went back just a bit less than a week later to get another picture of it, and I couldn't even really see where it was. There was not a single yellow flower.
Yeah.
Wow. Roger, is that on the trailway when you're going by on your bike? Is that where
Yes, it's near I forget which cove now, but it's the after you've passed the the pumpkin farm and so on. It's one of the first little bays you come to, and it's just before you get to it.
Watch out.
It's away. It's back on the other. It's near a house. Well, you can see the house in the background, so it's not right next to the trail.
Yeah. No, it may be invasive, but it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I put it in my garden.
And this is not invasive.
Oh wow!
This is the display of loosestrife that John was talking about earlier, opposite the Foxtrot Marina. This is
my goodness!
It's an endless stretch of it. If you're on the trailway there, heading out along the marina, the marina's on one side, or the parking lot for it is on one side, and this is on the other side, and it's really spectacular. There are also some nice other plants growing. You can see some cattails there as well. But yeah, it's a spectacular area where these things are bloom.
It doesn't seem to be spreading anywhere. It just seems to have filled up that entire place.
And certainly has filled that up, yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I've loved duck when it's in this stage, which is why I took this picture. But it's also a nice color contrast with the sort of the Scotch lovage. It's just beginning to sort of turn into a fall color here.
Nice, right? Dock tends to get ignored, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But it's a beautiful plant.
It is. Yeah.
It gets sort of reddish and then it gets black, and so it's
yeah. So that just about does it, I'd say.
Great.
So thanks for your patience, guys, and thanks for the contributors. And well, it's almost time to get back out and take some more pictures.
Thank you, John.
Not tomorrow.
Yesterday.
We won't be taking pictures tomorrow, I don't think.
I wouldn't say.
No. Maybe of snowflakes.
There you go. They're pretty. Black and white.
This was great. What a lovely assortment.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
Bang. I'm going to stop the share on this now somehow.
Okay. Good.
I'm not quite sure where I just got to, but
Still,
anyway.
Very good. Oh, here, come on.
Take care, everyone. Stay warm.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Get your snowshoes ready. Your shovels.
Thank you, John. Thanks for doing all that. Appreciate it.
Take it easy. And
Yes,
I'm going to send out. I'm going to send out a sort of slightly edited version of it, sort of as a general download.